So, a little Hotsy update. Um, I took the burner unit out and was trying to readjust the electrodes, and I tightened it down too tight, and I broke this one. Then I had no spark. So I put the old ones in and adjusted them, and I noticed that my spark was coming up and making contact with the bottom of that flame cone. And so I lowered the nozzle assembly down just a little bit and tried it again, and it fired, and it fires every time. So let me show you what we got going on here. Hang on to your butt. Fire no. Ooh, that's hot. See? So she's firing every time. Every time she's a firing. Do it again. Do it again, Jeff. Do it again. Whoa, that's hot. So anyway, I learned a few things there. This is a 1986 model Hotsy. The Hotsy guy came by, and he had this in the back of an old Chevy van. It was a demonstrator model, and they wanted to sell it. So we paid $2,800 for it, and then these wheels and stuff are off of an old Suzuki fat wheel or whatever they called them. We had a couple of them that were junk, so we put the wheels on it so we could drag it around, because originally it just sat on that frame in the back of his van. So what have we done since 1986 to this? Very little. Put a new engine on it 3-4 years ago. The Briggs & Stratton finally gave up the ghost. It's had one new boiler coil in it because I didn't get it winterized when it used to sit down at my dad's old place, and frozen broke that. It also broke the head on the pump, which I brazed back together and put it on. The oil in this pump has never been changed. This has still got the original oil in it. And there's a sight glass on the back over here, and that oil is still up to the level, and it's still just as clean as a whistle. And let's see, as far as the burner goes, we have done absolutely nothing to that burner since 1986. No one has ever even taken the water separator filter off and cleaned it, ever. It has had nothing but number 2 off-road fuel burned in it. And that's why the coil was plugged up. And so I had this jug of Zepp purple. This is for the shop floor. It's a degreaser. They say the Zepp, I think it's orange, red, has trisodium phosphate in it, which is better to remove the soot. But I just took this outside and I poured that Zepp all over it. And then I took the garden hose to it, and you couldn't hardly see between these coils before. So it's cleaned it up a lot. The only thing that I need now is I'm going to go up to the steam store, the Hotsy dealer, and get the insulation for around that. And then I also need the insulation that goes in the bottom. And I'll show you why. If you saw my last video, you saw that smoke and stuff coming out from the bottom. Well, it's because that bottom piece is shrunk up and mashed and burned up, and it's not covering those holes where you see the daylight. And so if you're pushing a lot of air from your blower out that, you're getting a rich mixture, and you're not burning it well, which is creating even more soot. So a lot of guys said to clean my electric eye. This model does not have an electric eye. The only thing it has on it to keep you from blowing your head off is this pressure switch, and it goes in over here on the valve. Put it in, you put this hog ring on it. It's just a micro switch. If this goes bad, you have to be paying attention. If you let go of the trigger and you don't hear that boiler shut off, you're going to have problems. So there's no electric eye, there's no flow sensor, or I guess you'd call that a flow sensor. That's probably what that is, a flow sensor, and that's a pressure switch. That's what kicks it off when you let go of the trigger. But we have done very little maintenance to this, and like I say, this is the first time ever that we've had problem with it igniting. And so what have I got into it dollar-wise? I think so far I've spent about $300. So to replace this unit, the cheapest Hotsy on wheels is $5,000 some dollars. And then when you get up into the nicer ones, the big ones, this one's got a 365,000 BTU boiler. You can get as high as $14,000 for one. I think the Hotsys are the Cadillac of pressure washers. This one's a testament to how well they're built. I mean, we've just abused this and abused this. Because it's on 3 wheels, this thing has been tipped over I don't know how many times. We'd drag it out of the shop and go out in the gravel, and it'd get doing this back and forth, and it would tip over. And it tipped over one time, and it broke the carburetor off of the Briggs & Stratton motor that was on it. And that's one of the reasons we got rid of the Briggs & Stratton, is we'd glued it together and messed with it, and it never ran right after that, so we changed it out. But it's been a super steam cleaner, and now that I've got it fixed, it'll go and go. The only improvement that I think I could make to it would be to strip it down, sandblast it, and paint it cat yellow and put some cat decals on it. That might improve its longevity another 30 years. Old guys rule and old stuff rules. They just don't make stuff like this anymore. So Jeff wins.